Welcome back. A few skimpily clad models at a fashion show on a snow-covered runway in Kashmir's Gulmarg has stirred the hornet's nest during the holy month of Ramzan. In fact, the outrage found wide echo in the Jammu and Kashmir Assembly today. This as Chief Minister Omar Abdullah clarified that his government had no role in the event organised at a private hotel and would not have given permission even if it was not the holy month of Ramzan. At the centre of this controversy over the show, which the Grand Mufti of Jammu and Kashmir has called a cultural invasion, were designer duos Shivan and Narresh. Political voices from across Kashmir's political spectrum have accused the government and its tourism department of being hell-bound to demolish Kashmir's moral, ethical, cultural and religious values. But in the chorus of condemnation, many have also questioned the medieval mindset in Kashmir, with many even praising that this was a sign of normalcy in Kashmir, especially after the removal of its special status in August of 2019. So is the shock and anger in Kashmir even justified? The same Kashmir, which was once a hotbed of militancy, a land of breathtaking beauty, long struggled with isolation and underdevelopment, is finally getting a new lease of life with a steady rise in tourism. But has this controversy also exposed the remnants of extremism against expression?
इस ज़मीन को हम नापाक नहीं होने देंगे, चाहे इसके लिए हमें अपनी जानों का नजराना भी पेश करना पड़े। जिसने इसकी इजाज़त दी है, CEO ऑफ गुलमर्ग को बिल्कुल बर्खास्त कर दिया जाए।
जो मैंने देखा वहाँ पे, वो तो रमजान छोड़िए, साल की किसी भी दिन वो नहीं होना चाहिए। लेकिन मैं एक बात यहाँ क्लियर करना चाहता हूँ, हुकूमत की तरफ से इसमें कोई रोल नहीं।
आज आप हाउस को बोल रहे मैं इंक्वायरी करवाऊंगा। इंक्वायरी आप कराएं अपने घर वालों की, अपने रिश्तेदारों की, जिन्होंने ये प्रोग्राम कराया।
इतनी अश्लील, वल्गर, ऑब्सीन, खुले आम आप बर्फ पे अपने मॉडल्स की वॉकिंग करा रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं जो NC सरकार है उनको जिम्मेवारी लेनी पड़ेगी। आपके होते हुए ये हुआ है, आप हर एक चीज से अपना हाथ धोना चाहते हैं।
All right, let me introduce our guests today. I'm joined in by Tausif Shah, who's the spokesperson for the PDP, Nasir Abdullah, who's an actor. I'm being told that Umesh Talashi, who's a spokesperson for the NC, will be joining in a minute, in fact. Let me quickly, in the moment, go to Tausif first. Tausif, now that the Grand Mufti has also said that this is a cultural invasion, why is it being called a cultural invasion A? You're also accusing the Chief Minister, especially because he has the tourism department portfolio under him. But you've seen how he's reacted. He's condemned this entire episode. Why now, just accuse the Chief Minister?
Yeah, hi, thanks for calling me online. But first of all, let me correct you that I am not the spokesperson of the party. Right. I'm just a senior leader of the party. So please...
my apologies.
Correct.
Yes, yes, we will.
Thanks a lot. So we have been seeing National Conference. We have been seeing National Conference government since our childhood. We have seen that this is the same government which does the things and then simply runs away by saying that we don't know. This was started with the hanging of Mr. Afzal Guru. They said we don't know how he was hanged, when he was hanged, and why he was hanged. Then came the part 2 when there was 2001-3 uprisings. So he was the Chief Minister and his Home Minister, Mr. Sagar, they came on the TV and said, we don't know who is killing them. So he doesn't know anything. He doesn't have the morality to be the CM of the state. He should have known. They should know. How is it possible? No, Mr. Talashi is very eager to respond. But Mr. Talashi, just let me finish first. You'll get your time. Just please let me finish. So we need to see that this. You should have taken care of this thing, that this is the holy month of Ramzan. When Muslims try to desist from these things, from this nudity, these nude shows, and then besides being the tourist spot, We go there with our children. So this nudity would not be accepted in Srinagar. You have to see that you yourself say that this is a Muslim-dominated place. When we respect the Hindu sentiment, when we respect that we should not eat the meat of cow because the meat of the cow is sacred to one religion. So likewise, you should also respect our sentiments, and you should see that this
No, but
nudity
the
is
BJP has
not-
very much condemned it in equal proportions. So, I mean,
how do we accept this? We can see that the Lieutenant Governor who comes from BJP, he's basically the BJP politician, and then the National Conference government, both are condemning. Then who allowed this?
okay.
Then do you
Umesh
mean to say
Talashi,
that
I
Jammu
want to
and
bring
Kashmir
you
has-
in. Umesh, can the Chief Minister absolve himself of any responsibility for what has happened over there? Because just by saying that this was a private show, even though, yes, the tourism department is very much a portfolio that's under his control.
Look, let's be very clear here. The Honorable Chief Minister said it on the floor of the House. It was a private event, right? And then at the same point of time, we don't support it. We strictly condemn it. That obscenity, be it a holy month of Ramzan, with due respects to it, or be it even if it's not Ramzan, Jammu and Kashmir, the land of holy saints and Sufis, we never endorse obscenity here. So it was brought to our cognizance this morning that such event has happened, and Honorable Chief Minister Saab was very strict on issuing the guidelines on taking the cognizance of the event and finding out who is responsible for it. So the point is that Jammu and Kashmir, even post Article 370 abrogation, we have seen a lot of tantrums happening here in Jammu and Kashmir. But obscenity is something. We do support fashion shows. We are not against fashion shows. But at the same point of time, we are not in support of nudity and obscenity here. Vulgarity is something that we can't accept here. So government has issued strict guidelines, government has asked for the inquiry about it, and whosoever is responsible for it will be taken to task.
Nasir Abdullah, I want to bring you in finally. Do you think that this would have been an issue if an India Fashion Week or a Lakme Fashion Week was happening simultaneously in the national capital at the month of Ramzan? Nasir Abdullah, I'm bringing, no, that's not a question for you. That's a question for Nasir Abdullah. I'll come to you. I'll let you come out.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, here's the deal. For me, I'm a little astounded by the huge reactions of obscenity, ashlilta, obscene, whatever, naked and all that. A fashion show is a fashion show. And ashlilta, obscenity, or shodapan as we call it in Urdu, lies in our minds. We are looking at beauty, clothes being draped over the bodies of young men and women to enhance one aspect of whatever. So a lot of people are saying a lot of things because this seems to be a moment for everybody to shoot off. Let us be honest. And I also was of the opinion that maybe it could have been avoided during the month of the Ramzan. And yet, if some people want to do the show and they do it, the people who don't like it do not need to be a part of it. There is no sacrilege. There is no afat. There is no a calamity that will befall the land of India or Kashmir as a result, because the truth is, this is work and this is the right way. Please don't interrupt me.
Yes, allow him time. Allow him
Please
time.
don't interrupt me.
Allow him time.
I hate it when they interrupt me because I've
Umesh,
gotten
please.
dressed for the occasion.
If you want nobody to speak over you, then allow others also that time, Umesh.
Otherwise, anyway. So I am saying this. I was not in favor of this show at this stage, because if there is a Muslim, whatever majority, and they're observing, it is a month of fasting and prayer, okay? It's a month of fast. So one can consider the fact and postpone it if they want to. If they don't, it is okay. no harm, no calamity will happen. God is not like one warden of a hostel with a danda in his hand, and he will not beat up everybody.
All right, let me also...
No calamity.
Okay,
no
Umesh,
tsunami
how
will
do you
happen.
respond to that? But please keep in mind that Ramzan and any holy period would not have had a bearing if this were to be happening in some other part of India, perhaps any of the other metropolitan cities.
Can I come in, please?
Yes, I'm going to give you time, but let me also listen in from what Umesh has to say. Umesh, please go ahead. You wanted to make a point? Okay, I think we've lost his connection over there. But yes, Tausif, please go ahead.
Yeah. I just like to reply to Mr. Nasser. Look, Mr. Nasser, it's not a controversy. Let me tell you very clearly, when we see in the UP of India, when there's a fasting of Hindus, so there are Muslim shops that were stopped from selling meat. So if you go by this ideology that if you want to do, you have to do it, who does not want to do it, please don't attend this. So why don't you say the same lines when the Muslim shops are being stopped from selling meat during the Hindu fastings? So there should be there should be the same resemblance in both of the religions.
You heard it. You heard it. Nasser is giving you a thumbs up to that as well.
I don't know.
I'll just say that two wrongs will not make a right.
I don't like
exactly, you're right.
this form of the comparison.
No, then why have an issue with the fashion show?
For me, it is a load of rubbish. I have also said I would have been happier if they had abstained from this. You didn't hear my whole thing because you were too eager to speak. I had said that this is a month of fasting and prayer. So it would have been better if they could have postponed it, but if they had to do it, it doesn't matter, because the people who need to follow their God can do so without being affected with all this. Why are you looking at this and making it a big deal for yourself? It is not a big deal, but we make it a big deal. That is
all right, I think the
important
point is it's a very valid point. Yes, Umesh, I think there's also an alternate school of thought.
God is beneficent and merciful. God is beneficent and merciful. He's not a warden with a danda and he will beat you up for doing
point
this.
Taken, Nasser. Nasser, point taken. The gentleman here from NC has been waiting his turn. Let's also listen in from Umesh. Umesh, there's also an alternate school of thought that God is very kind and he lets you choose.
Look, I've been hearing Nasser, I've been hearing his statement. But the point is, I made it very clear to you in the beginning that we, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, don't support obscenity. It's not about the majority. You know what? This was the issue raised by minorities in the assembly at this point of time.
Okay, then by that logic, Umesh, let's also answer the role that the governments had to play. How could you even permit this, even if this was a private property? Given that Gulmarg is currently under heavy security, then how did it escape? How did it even escape the government? Isn't that a lapse in itself?
Look, I'll answer you. It was a private event, and when it was brought into notice of the government, we have initiated an inquiry into it. It was a private event. It was a private party, right? We have asked for the details about it.
So will the details in the report that has been sought by the Chief Minister? No, I have questions. I have questions. That is my job. Please allow me to pose my questions. Who gave the permits for ramp? Who gave the permits for liquor consumption? Aren't these permits that are granted by the government?
Look. It's a private party event. It was in a hotel. It was a private hotel, and it was.
So you're saying that under your government, private hotels are allowed to serve alcohol during the month of Ramzan?
If the concerned CEO is involved, if the
Umesh,
concerned authorities
are you saying that private hotels in Kashmir are allowed to serve alcohol under Ramzan?
Nudity is something that we don't support.
But you're okay with alcohol being served during the holy month of Ramzan in private hotels?
Of course.
Okay.
Let's find out.
Let's also listen to. So who grants them permit to do so? Tausif Shah, I'd like to bring you in on that point.
Yeah. it's very astonishing that Mr. Talashi is saying that yes, they are permitted to sell the alcohol in the month of Ramzan.
I never said it. I never said it. No, I never said it.
I think we
You
heard
said that we'll
You fix
see
your
in the
air
report,
conditioner.
but you have not acknowledged that
your air
there's been a
conditioner. I
major
never said
lapse.
it.
No, but Umesh, you need to acknowledge that there's been a lapse under your government, which has not been able to ensure that such events don't happen if you are so condemnable of these events.
Of course, we
The
condemn it.
best part,
Okay,
the best
Tausif.
part is that the property belongs to the Chief Minister's first cousin. So obviously,
How does it matter?
he must have already known that there's something going to happen. Some event is
How
going
does
to
it
happen.
matter
Because
if
Mr.
even it
Abdullah
belongs to a relative? How does it matter?
usually keeps on going to Gulmarg. Usually keeps on
Do
going
you
to
think
Gulmarg.
that-
Gulmarg is upset. So it's
See,
very
will be
vague that he doesn't know.
Will be.
It's exactly the same. कि
Well,
मुझे
aware
नहीं
of all the
पता
things
क्या-
happening around?
It's exactly the same like he said that कि भैया अफजल गुरु की फांसी हुई. I didn't sign. 2013 में यहाँ लोगों को कौन मार रहा है? We don't know.
Look.
Exactly
It
the
could
same
be an
story.
opposition
Fashion show
stunt.
is going on.
We
It
don't
could
have
be
to
an
go that
opposition
far.
stunt
We don't
because
know who is doing this.
opposition
This
is
somebody from-
baffled.
How
It
is
could
this
be
an opposition stunt
but
if
we'll
it's...
inquire about it, and those involved in it will be
How,
will be
Umesh,
brought
is this
under
an
law.
opposition
We will
stunt?
accept
Okay,
it.
okay, gentlemen,
Why
please
don't we
give me
let-
30 seconds. Nasser, I have a question for you and I'm going to come to you. Just give me 30 seconds. How is this an opposition stunt, Umesh, when it is your government that's in power? The property owned happens to be of a cousin to the Chief Minister
It's
himself.
not a government property. It's not a
Okay,
government
but
property.
is it okay?
There
Answer
was
my
no
very.
government
I have a
infrastructure
very
there.
pointed question. Do you acknowledge that the property is owned by the cousin of Omar Abdullah?
How does that matter?
No, answer my question. Yes or no?
My cousin
I
owns a
am
property.
asking you a question.
He does some, look,
All right,
look,
so
look.
that's a
My
silent
cousin owns a
acknowledgement that
property.
yes,
He
it's the
does a
cousin's
mistake.
property.
Does that come to me? Am I responsible
Okay.
for it?
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Thank
I
you
in
for
on it? No,
thank
no.
you for absolving yourself for any responsibility over here. But Tausif Shah, how do you respond to the allegation that this could very much be an opposition stunt, perhaps orchestrated by you or the BJP?
You know, how do this is not an opposition stunt? This is the we can say that this is the carelessness of the government. It's a mere carelessness of the government. They are busy with just purchasing the vehicles for the Chief Minister. They are busy with their CM's house. They are busy with
Don't say something.
They have nothing to do. They have nothing to do with the
don't.
state. Now, second thing, why do they need an inquiry over it? There's a video, there are proofs. Everybody knows everything. Even a small child knows everything. What do they need the committee for? Just take it right away, right now, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Okay, Nasser
they
wants
want
to
to.
make a point.
If they
Nasser, I
don't
have a
want to,
question
then
for you.
that's
While you make that point, I have a question for you.
breaking up. You're breaking up. I
Okay,
can't hear you
can you
well.
hear me now?
I can, of course.
In Kashmir, where which has been a hotbed for militancy, the government, both at the state and the centre, basically have made efforts now to control the revival of militancy. At the same time, you're seeing targeted killings being on the rise. And today we are also discussing this because there's been the stirring of a hornet's nest thanks to some various political voices. Is this also becoming a case of misplaced priorities in Kashmir?
I don't know. Look, if you're talking about the targeted killings,
No, I asked Nasser. I asked Nasser. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Nasser, you can't
Okay,
hear me. Okay, Umesh.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Nasser,
I can hear
go
you.
ahead. Go ahead.
So I wanted to say to the gentleman earlier on,
No, he's not
here
right.
is my gyan to you all, and I'm a reasonably senior man now. I was a very young, dashing-looking guy once upon a time, but that's not the
No,
point.
you're still young
Here is
and
my
dashing.
gyan. Thank you. Here is my gyan. If for some reason there has been some kind of a sacrilege or something negative-ish which is not really allowed in our religion in Islam, because it's a month of fasting and the prayer. This is my dear. The Lord Paramatma, Master of the universe, will do the needful. We don't need to get too excited because you and the other gentlemen around are innocent of this whole thing, and no afat, no tsunami has hit us. The Lord shall do the judgment. We are not supposed to judge because we are going to be judged. And the Lord is beneficent and merciful. He knows what to do. So whoever has been involved in all this, the cosmic
the cosmic agents, the cosmic angels will deal with this. We don't have to get too excited. It's done and over with. Something happened. I was not very much for it, but those who wanted it, they did it. The others who didn't want to have anything to do with it stayed away from it, and that's fine. That is the way to deal with it, because every third day there is some festival of some Christian, Jain, Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim. So let it be, meaning we don't have to get... And there is
I am
obscenities
sure
in the mind.
all of us, all of
Obscenities
you
in the
gentlemen
mind.
will agree that religious sensibilities are a very personal matter, but I'd like to just highlight one issue that I'm very glad that the first controversy after 10 years, finally, when there's been an election and a government's come to power, and what was being discussed on the floor of the House was at least not a targeted killing or a militant issue. So that perhaps is the silver lining to this entire controversy. Many thanks to you gentlemen for joining in.